So in this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of the open jobs. So what you see when you actually assign a job to a technician and the technician sort of their workflow, just in terms of like the way that they would update the job, update the service material, purchase orders, add notes, etc. So first of all, when you log into the app, you'll be seeing our dashboard. Our dashboard for the technician is very straightforward, very simple. You click on open jobs, which is the top right purple button. So I'm going to tap on that, click on open jobs. And right away you see a list of all the jobs that have been assigned to the technician in sort of the order that it was created. So this order could be changed to accommodate all types of needs in terms of priority, etc. But in this particular case, it's just sort of like a straight order. And right off the top, I could see the sort of light blue color is sort of like the scheduled jobs. And if you notice, it says scheduled right in this area here. So it says scheduled. It shows you the name of the company. You could see sort of the address. You could see a phone number, the person to contact, and then the problem that exists, right? And from there, the technician just has to do one thing. They just need to click on accept. Once they click on accept, they'll confirm with a yes. And what it actually does, it changes the status on the desktop so that they could see the desktop version of that thing changed to accepted job. And that's basically what happens there. So with that, once you do that, you can obviously call. You can click on the call button. This will just take you to your dialer so you can actually be able to dial the number. But more importantly, you click on the details button and that will take you into the details of the job. Now, once you're in the details of the job, there's really only two tabs. There's an overview tab and there's an update tab. That's it. There's no other tabs in the application. And the reason why we did this is purely for simplicity purposes. So with the overview tab, you have the ability to see obviously more read-only information. So overview of what the problem is or the project that you're working on, the contact information, the primary contact. And by the way, this is the primary contact for that specific location, not the general primary contact. The system is smart enough to show you the specific location primary contact, and also a map of the location. You can click on get directions. This will take you to your favorite mapping tool to give you directions. At the very, very bottom, I have the ability to snap a photo right away, and I could take some notes and I could get a signature from the customer right off the top. So it's very straightforward, very easy in order to be able to kind of just capture information or at least understand what it is that you need to do from that particular job. On the next tab, update tab, this is where you're going to be inputting information into the system. So right now the current status is accepted job. However, I could choose from the drop down. I could say, you know what, this job is temporary fix. And again, if I do that right away, that updates the dashboard, temporary fix. All right. So immediately every single change that you make is happening in real time. I can also come down here and I can click on time tracking. I could click on clock in and it'll basically choose the time. And I could say, okay, I'm going to clock out at, let's say 9 a.m. So 5:47 to 9 a.m. It's regular time. I could also say this is, you know what, this is going to be overtime because I'm working late or early. And break time if need be. I could put some break time inside of there. And I could say, okay, you know what, I had 30 minutes for break time, just so that it's not calculating the break time. And then you could basically explain what is it that you actually did on the job. So I could say fix wire, whatever, right? Click on save. So that will automatically enter the information, obviously for the time clock lock in there. So if I go back to the dashboard here and I click on that work order, I'm going to click on edit. On the work order, I'll go to the time tracking, and on there I'll see that details including the fixed wire. But more importantly, I could also come over to the dashboard tab. I could click on technician report and I'll be able to see that fixed wire there along with the time. And so this gives you a summary of all the technicians and sort of the jobs that they're doing across the entire system. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Now coming back to the mobile, you can add services, equipment. I'm not going to go through all this, I'm just showing you. The one that I will do is a service material. So this is, I went out to the job, I did some very specific work, so fix wire in this case, right? And then I could choose another task, so I could say installed electrical, right, or whatever, right? I can put in the quantity of whatever the items are, and then I can put some internal notes, right? Click on add. I'm going to add one more because I just want to show that you don't have to necessarily type in all the details. This could be items coming from your pricing or from your inventory. So you could just basically choose or type thing. In this particular case, I got an LCD monitor, and I'm going to say that I did 5 of them, right? Or 6. So I'm click add. So those are 2 items that I've added from my service material. And if I go back to the desktop very quickly, I click on edit on that work order again, and I go to the service materials tab, then I will see those 2 items added there, right? Now notice the price is 0 because the technician did not enter the price. Now if you can enable the option so that the technician can enter prices, but most people don't necessarily care about that. They want their technician to just input the information, and then at some other point the technician can, the admin person or whoever is working on the job, can enter price. The last thing, but not least here, I'm just going to show very quickly how to actually add a photo. So just to go back to the desktop very quickly, when you add a photo, that photo shows up on this photo tab section here. Right now there's no documents or photos. So if I come back in here, I'm just going to click on the icon. I'm going to say take a photo. I'm just going to point it up to my camera right here, and I'm going to just snap a quick photo. And then once I do that, I can put a description, right? And then I can click save. So once I do that, click save. If I come back over here in a second or two, there, that photo just showed up. Now the photo by default is marked as internal only. You can always change it to a customer photo, client document, and that will basically go out to the client as an attachment. But by default, every single thing is internal only. If I click on view details, and that's that photo that I just took with me recording video on my messy desk. So with that, hopefully that's given you sort of a quick overview of how the mobile update screen looks like for open jobs. And once you actually one more thing I want to put. So whenever you finish with a job, after you've completed it, when you mark it as being sort of completed, so the general rule is that if you mark the job as being completed, it will be removed from your board. So it'll come off of this board here. If I do a refresh, that job shouldn't be in there anymore. There, it went back to 8. And then that completed job goes out into your closed jobs. So if you click on closed jobs, then you'll see that completed job is there, right? And on the desktop, that basically translates to that job changing status to completed to be invoiced, because now the technician has completed their part of the job and is now being labeled as completed to be invoiced by your admin personnel, so that they can then continue that process. So hopefully that's given you some sort of overview of how the open jobs from a technician standpoint you can manage and update it very easily within the SnapSuite application. And with that, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.